Hey guys, it's Sharon here and welcome back to my channel. Now, first of all, I'd like to apologize for not having any videos up recently. When I was doing my last batch of videos, I had quite a few hauls to show you guys, but I've not had any recent hauls. I've had to kind of lay off a little bit. So I've not really had any recent hauls, and so I was trying to rack my brain for some video ideas to put up for you guys to watch. And rather than just doing my Hobonichi flip-throughs or whatever, I decided to go ahead and start a new series where I reviewed the different coloring books that I have in my adult coloring book collection. I have quite a few, so I have a lot that I could go through with you guys. What I thought I would do is go ahead and show you, feature one book in a video and go ahead and do a detailed flip-through and an in-depth look so that you guys can see what's inside the book and decide if it's something that you guys would like. What I thought I would start out first with you guys, I thought it would be very fitting to actually do one of my very first coloring books that I ever got. The first time I ever bought an adult coloring book was on Amazon, and I bought 3 very, very inexpensive books. I think I paid less than $10 for the whole thing. And so this one here is from Dover Publications, and it is called Geometrical Designs Coloring Book. And I apologize for the glare. I'm sitting under one of my skylights here, and sometimes at different times of the day, if it's glossy, it's going to glare like that a little bit. So I do apologize. I'll try to adjust things so we can see it a little bit better. But this is from Dover Publications, and it's Geometrical Designs Coloring Book. 46 original designs by Spyros Horimus. And here is what the front cover looks like. Here is the back cover. Now on the front cover, as you can tell, it's got a design from one of the books, and it gives you an idea of how you can color that in. Same thing on the back. This is a mandala. You can color it in like that, or you can do your own. Now it's got a little blurb here, which I will go ahead and read to you guys. And it says here, a coloring book doesn't have to contain actual objects, people, animals, flowers, landscapes to be fun to color, and this book will prove that better than any. With the imaginative use of color applied to these geometrical designs, striking and beautiful results can be achieved that you wouldn't have thought possible until you actually tried them. Okay. So again, front cover, here is the back cover. Now, I'm going to go ahead and flip through the book, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the book itself, the paper quality, how I found coloring in it. Now, you guys probably know, if you've watched a lot of my videos, I have said this a couple of times before, that I'm a little quirky in the way that now I tend to copy my coloring pages onto different paper and color it that way, and then store them in a 3-ring binder inside page protectors. It preserves the life of my coloring book, and if I want to put it on, say, watercolor paper and watercolor on it, then I have that option. I would just copy the page or scan the page and print it out, that kind of thing. So, but with this coloring book, when I first started using the coloring books, I actually did color in the books because I didn't really think of copying the pages. So in this one, you're going to see some completed designs. Now, if you have seen my completed adult coloring book pages, which that video I will go ahead and link in the description section so that you can see that one if you're interested in it. You have seen quite a few completed designs in this one, because this was one of the books that I did show. But let's go ahead and do a flip through, and then I will talk about the quality of the paper, what I think about the book, and so forth, and tell you the pros and cons and all that. So anyway, let's go ahead and start. So on this inside cover here, and I'm going to get it so it's not glaring, we have another design from the book, and it gives you an example of how you can color that in. We have the title page with an excerpt, I guess if you will, of one of the designs in there. You can color this page in. And then over here we have, this is one of the completed designs that I have. Now over here is the copyright page, and it's got a publisher's note, which I'll go ahead and read you that. It's quite a few, it's a little bit of a blurb, so, but it's got some good points to it. And then of course the copyright information and stuff down here. So anyway, this little blurb says, publisher's note. The chances are that you have never before seen a coloring book anything like this one, which is filled with pure patterns and abstract shapes. Almost all coloring books contain a picture of real things, of people, animals, plants, and other familiar objects which one is expected to paint the correct, or at least a reasonable, color. Who ever heard of a blue strawberry? How strange it is that people have not generally recognized the abstract patterns and shapes which do not have any built-in color association allow us to play with color with absolute freedom. Here, a wrong color choice is impossible. We are limited only by our own imaginations. Although at first glance some of these designs may look very complicated, you will quickly discover that each one is made up of continuous or repeated shapes and parts. In each case, you are free, of course, to use colors to point up any aspect of the design that interests you. Some you will want to tone down with a quiet or simple color scheme. Others you will want to make as exciting and brilliant as a flashing neon sign. Whatever aspect you choose, you can be sure that the finished picture will be uniquely your own, for no one else, not even the original artist, will have seen it exactly the way you have. All right. So they're just saying that there's really no wrong color scheme or color choice in something like this. And of course, with any book that you own, it's your book, you color it the way you want to, so it doesn't really matter. But they're just saying, just let your imagination run wild and play and do whatever you want to in this book. So anyway, here is one of the completed designs that I did. I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit. There we go. Here is one of the completed designs that I did. I think I did this one with my platinum colored pencils. I like how that one turned out. It turned out really nice. I was practicing some shading and some blending in this one. And this book, I'm going to say this book is really good for that because there's some very, very large spaces to color in, and you can really jazz it up. You can doodle in some of the huge spaces, and just really, there's a lot of room for creativity. You don't have to just color in the actual lines here. Like, you can doodle inside the lines, you can merge some colors, there's a lot of room to practice some shading. So that's one of the really, really nice pros of this book. Now, one of the cons is that it's double-sided. As you can see, we have some double-sided pages. The paper quality in this book, it feels like most of the Dover publication books. Now, Creative Haven is a little different. I think it's a division of Dover, but in the Creative Haven, most of them are single-sided, and the paper feels a little thicker. But this one here, again, this is one of the lesser, very, very inexpensive books. So you're not going to get like real thick, super good paper. The paper feels pretty thin. Again, it's double-sided, so you're really going to have to be careful what you use to color in this one. I have started to color in this book, as you've seen, but I've used just colored pencils. I like to err on the side of caution because I'm one of those that hate it when something bleeds through on the back of the page. Now, some of you probably don't mind choosing a design and just letting the other one go and just letting it bleed over the next page. I don't like doing that. To me, it just ruins the book. It drives me nuts if something bleeds through on another picture. I just hate that. But this one here, as you can see, like for example, some of them have some really thick black lines to color in, and this one is the more average kind of medium line width, I guess. Now, as you can tell, some of these designs are very, very simple. If you like something more intricate, like the Johanna Basford books or the Anamorphia kind of books, this kind of book is not going to be for you because you're going to view it as too simple. But if you're a beginner and if you're looking to practice some shading and blending, this is perfect because look at the really large spaces in a lot of these designs. You can really go to town on this one and just play to your heart's content. If you just want to test out certain color schemes and just play with random colors, this is a great book to be able to do that with. This one I did. Not real happy with how this one turned out. I think I did well, no, wait a minute. this one is okay. I think I did this one with polychromos. Again, as you can see, these are some very large spaces right here. You could blend maybe 2 or 3 colors into each other, maybe do a rainbow effect. I was practicing some shading with some of the little wheels here. But you could really do a lot with these very, very large spaces. You could doodle inside them, make little stars, whatever you want to do. You can really, there's a lot of room to just play. And you can jazz it up and make it look a little bit more complicated than it is, if that's your speed. But if you're looking for, now I did these 2 pages. I think this one I did with Prismacolors. This one I think was Polychromos. Again, you've seen these pages if you watched my completed adult coloring book pages. But if you are looking for something simple to do after you've finished a completed like real hard page or real intricate page, this is a good book to be able to do that with. Very, very simple. And the simplicity can be either a pro or a con. If you want something super simple, then this is the kind of book for you. But if you kind of feel that this is kid stuff, you're not going to like this one, because there's some of these designs that a kid could do pretty easily. So, but if you have like brush pen, well, I don't know, this paper quality, unless you copy it onto some different paper, I'd be very, very careful with markers or brush pens, because it's going to bleed through. I don't like it. As I said, I don't like it when something bleeds through onto the next page in something like this. If it was single-sided, you really wouldn't have to worry. Just put a couple pieces of white paper underneath it. But again, you could copy these onto mixed media paper or some watercolor paper, and you'd be okay. Now, this one I did with Prismacolors. This was one of my very first ones, and I really don't like how it turned out. It turned out kind of streaky, but again, you got some very large places to be able to play with and to blend colors into each other or practice your shading. So, again, one of the pros that could be a con is the simplicity of this book. Again, here's another one that I did. You may like the simplicity of this book, or you may not. It just depends on what style you have. The paper quality is pretty thin, so again, you're going to have to be cautious about what you use in this book. I tend to just be cautious and use colored pencils. There's another one of the designs I did. I did this one with Prismacolors, and I was just playing with color. You know, I was just kind of goofing off, which this book is really good for doing that with. Here's a diamond that I did. It turned out okay. I think I got out of the lines in a couple of the little areas, but for the most part, it turned out pretty good. Again, some of the designs are a little bit more complicated than others, which you may or you may not like. There's one that kind of looks like a little eye. So, this one is probably one of the more complicated ones in this book right here, especially up here, because you get some pretty good details. Now, on the back here, and I'll try to get where we can see it, here is another one of the designs, and it gives you an example of how you can color it. And again, here is our back cover, which is what we've seen in the beginning of this video. So, my thoughts on this book, it's simple. It will probably be too simple for some of you. It could be right up the alley of some of you that are just starting out. This is a very, very good beginner book. Out of 5 stars, I probably rate this maybe 3.5, because again, some of the designs are too simple. But if you've got like vision problems, or if you don't care for the intricate stuff, this book is This book would be right for you. But if you're looking for something really, really intricate, like Johanna Basford's books or the Millie Murata books, that kind of stuff, then this book is going to be way, 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 way beneath you. So it just depends on what you're looking for. The reason I am giving this 3.5 stars, again, the designs, most of the designs are just a little bit too simple for probably most of us that, that have been coloring for a little while. Also, because it's double-sided and because the paper quality is pretty thin. But again, it was a very inexpensive book, which was one of the pros. If you're wanting something that you're not going to pay a lot of money for, this is a good book to have for about, I think it was like $2.50, under $3 that I know. unless the price has changed. Now, I will try to find this book on Amazon, and I will link that in the description section. So if you want to get this book, you can do that. So there's things I like about it, some things that I don't like about it. The double-sided pages and the paper quality being so thin are a couple of the things that I really don't care for. Plus, some of the designs are just way, way too simple. What I like about it is that there are some simple patterns that you can just use to play with and practice your shading. This book is great for that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you want to see more like this, subscribe to my channel, and I will be putting more coloring book reviews up and flip-throughs and so forth. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, hit the like button, and we will talk to you guys all later. Bye, guys!